Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of I Can Do This All Day. I am Dan, the part-time Avenger. That is Mark, the resident Jedi.
Hello there. Today we're here to talk about a movie that we both watched on the internet. It's newer. It has a ton of Marvel people who are friends from work in it. That is the 2026 crime drama, Crime 101.
Crime 101, that means Chris Hemsworth is back. This was out in theaters for a little while. Did not catch it in theaters, wanted to, and asked my wife a few times to watch it, but just did not get out to the theaters. So we just watched it on streaming just like everyone else did. Because I don't know what the box office was. So depending on how that turns out, I'm sure that it's probably not getting a sequel anytime soon, but who am I to
Does
judge?
it need a sequel?
I don't know. That's what we're here to talk about, because that's what we do on this podcast. Review movies and occasionally talk shit.
Occasionally.
So this movie was based off of Don Winslow's 2020 novella. Don Winslow, Carl Winslow's brother. And this movie was directed by Bart Layton. Have you ever heard of Bart Layton before?
No.
All right. I'm not going to Google him either, because I don't feel like I need to look into his back catalog, although I am kind of curious. But did you have any origin about the movie? Were you excited about the movie when it was first announced? Did you even know that it was announced?
I did not know it was announced. I was looking into Bart Layton. He has not done anything that I know of, which does not surprise me based on the way the quality of the direction of this movie. But no, I didn't know about it. You told me about it. You sold me on the cast. Love a good Hemsworth. Not your typical Hemsworth in this from what we would normally watch. But yeah, no, I went in with zero expectations. I honestly, I turned it on a couple days ago, a few days before I actually watched it, to be like, okay, I'll watch it. And then just the beginning started so heavy, and I'm like, I don't want to pay attention to a movie right now. There are two kinds of movies you watch, right? There's the ones that are there to entertain, and the ones you have to pay attention to entertain. And this one starts off in a way that makes you feel like you've got to pay attention.
Yeah, not the action-packed movie that I thought it was going to be, and apparently not what a lot of people thought it was going to be. So that's kind of what I went into. I was thinking, oh, Hemsworth, action movie, heists. This is going to be awesome. And Ruffalo is in it. Great. Okay. There's going to be a little bit of tension, a little bit of friends can be enemies, enemies can become friends. It looked pretty good from the trailers. And the fact that, Halle Berry was in it as well. I don't think she's a box office draw anymore. I think that is kind of past. But at the same time, people still hold her in high regard. I liked her in John Wick 3, and I figured, she might have some cool stuff to do in this one. And
are you perpetuating the stereotypes of this movie? Because it sounds like
what stereotypes? What stereotypes?
Because she's 53, she can't be a box office draw anymore? I don't know how old Halle Berry is.
That was just a fact from the movie of the character.
Yeah,
not stereotyping of what we're trying to do.
Sounds like what you're saying. But I saw that Halle Berry was in this, and I'm like, could this be like Swordfish? Because Swordfish was hugely underrated and awesome when it came out. We thought it was going to be another Battleship Earth or whatever the hell that terrible Travolta movie is where he has robot dreadlocks. But it was actually decent because Hugh Jackman came in. What?
Are you sure you're remembering that movie correctly? Because I think it was a lot of buzz about it because of Hugh Jackman and Halle Berry and John Travolta.
There was a lot of buzz about
sucked.
it. There was a lot of buzz about it for two reasons, all right? And those reasons belonged to Halle Berry. I know that. And that drove it out. But nobody knew who Hugh Jackman was at that point.
He was already Wolverine at that point.
But he wasn't Hugh Jackman. He was the guy that, he had the same level of fame as James Marsden, basically. Now he's Hugh Jackman.
I don't know about that. So wait a second. You're saying that Swordfish was a good movie?
It was so you remember I gave you two reasons to watch a movie: to be entertained and have to watch it for the story. Swordfish is not a watch it for the story movie, but it's entertaining. They fly buses around. He has to hack on a laptop with no Wi-Fi security.
That movie
they might as well have called him Zero Cool in that movie. I mean, it was very in the vein of Hackers. This is very bullshit, but it's still funny.
Really good cast. Movie sucked. I really wanted to like that movie because I still held John Travolta in high regard. Halle Berry didn't really care about. Hugh Jackman, just because he was Wolverine, I was like, yes, this movie's going to be awesome. And no. Don Cheadle was in it too, so War Machine was in it. War Machine story.
Hey, I'm
not so
going to
much.
say that when we get to the end of this, I'm going to ask you a question about Crime 101 versus Swordfish. And I know what my answer is.
Okay. All right. Well, going into the expectations of everything, I think we really put that flat out there. And it seems like everyone's showing their hand about the movie before we even really dump into it. But while we go into everything, why don't you first grace the audience with your version of the plot?
Enter Upside Down LA. Turn it around while listening to self-help cassettes in our car, and then we heist. And the heist doesn't go wrong, but it doesn't go right. But because it went wrong, we plant the evidence that eventually fucks up all other heists. And in the end, friends from work help each other out.
I liked that synopsis just because of that last sentence right there. Pretty accurate. I would say, like, this is, originally I was thinking this was going to be an action-packed movie, and it seemed like a lot of people thought that was going to be the case. This was definitely a slow burn for a action/heist movie, I would say. So it's not completely slow, but there's a lot of like slow moving parts in this movie, and tension is built up, kind of like the uneasiness of everything. So Hemsworth, right off the bat, I was picking up like neurodivergent vibes right away. He just seemed not the dashing Hemsworth, right? I was even telling my wife, it was as if this was written for someone on the spectrum, and then Chris Hemsworth happened to get like an audition for it, and they're like, well, we can't have Hemsworth as this, can we? He's like, yeah, we can. Let's just see what happens. Hemsworth could do this, no problem. And were you picking up anything like from the personality of his character, Mike?
I think that where we go into heist movies and we expect suave and very confident thieves, that's not what we got here. We got somebody who had a lot of pain behind those eyes, right? There was a lot of trauma involved in that character, especially when you've got like black car, black suit, blacked out windows. There's so many other movies that do that trope, right? Any of the movies with the what's the driver one with the bald guy? Oh my God, why can't I think of his name?
Statham?
Yeah, the Statham movies, like every
Transporter?
Jason Statham movie. Yeah, all the transporters, which is essentially like he just robs and transports. It's a getaway car thing, right? Like Statham is calm and collected and confident throughout, and not shaken. Hemsworth is shaken by everything. Like even the first height's like, I don't want to hurt you. Well, why are you pointing a gun at me, bro? And then you see, like, I don't think that Hemsworth has ever had that much trouble talking to a member of the opposite sex. And like, I mean, he made me feel suave about myself because, wow. So I think
not smooth at all. Not smooth at all. Was
not a smooth criminal.
Mm-hmm.
Annie, he was not okay. But it doesn't give, there's certain heist movies that you just like to watch because there's just this craziness to him, right? The Italian Job, Heat, the list goes on. All of the Oceans movies where everybody's suave. It's like they gave Hemsworth an Affleck accountant-esque role to play. And they're like, well, if Batman can do it, Thor can pull this off, no problem.
So did you say that, or would you say that he did not pull that off? Like, is it not believable?
No, I think he did a good job. Like, I think he disappeared into the character. It was nice. Nice. I don't know if it was nice, but it was not unnatural, right? You felt the pain, you felt the depth of emotion, and I think that was well represented. It was also written in there very, like, in bold. All of the, you knew that there was some trauma behind this, and you didn't quite know why. And then we all were traumatized when Nick Nolte popped onto the screen, and we were like, how is he alive? And why aren't they remaking Tales of the Crypt with Nick Nolte hosting?
Just like when I heard him in The Mandalorian first season, I was like, holy shit. Nick Nolte sounds like he was dying while he was doing that voiceover.
Then we saw him and we're like, holy shit. But Nick Nolte is like 84. How did Nick Nolte live 84? And is he like related to Keith Richards?
I don't know, man. I don't know. But still solid performance from him. I would say like the shakiness of his voice, which is probably just like a normal characteristic of him now. Maybe not. No disrespect either way. But I felt like, okay, well, this is interesting because it's this, if you look at it from a cinematic perspective as well, it's like, okay, Hemsworth, he looks the part that he's all put together. He's got everything figured out. He's smooth, everything, but he's not, right? Then you've got Nolte, who looks like he lived in that bar, never left that bar stool, but he kind of knows everything. And he's like super polished from the, the man in the chair type of perspective. So I don't know. I kind of like that portrayal and for both of them because like, oh, that's kind of a nice little 180. That's a nice little flip. And if you're reading into it, if you're just like, who the hell is this old bastard? Then, you're not going to enjoy it as much as we are. We remember Nick Nolte from 48 Hours, from Blue Chips, from all those wonderful 80s and 90s. Prince of Tides, right? Who didn't watch Prince of Tides? By the way, I didn't watch Prince of Tides.
I'm just glad that they let him yell in the movie because it's not Nick Nolte unless he gets the throaty yell in there, right? Unless he gets really lathered up. And I'm like, oh my God, is Nick Nolte going to just keel over from getting frothed up in this movie? Does he only have so much he can give? And then he's got to get some time in his trailer?
Maybe that's the case. I thought that dynamic between those two characters was interesting because you would think, and that's where I really like picked up on like, oh man, a refreshing take on what I thought was going to be the Hemsworth gun show, where he's just going to take his shirt off in between each scene because he needs to change. And the cameraman was just like, all right, cool. Hemsworth, we need another shirtless shot because we need to make this movie go on and on and on. So I don't know. I kind of like that, but the cast overall I thought was pretty solid too. I mean, you got Halle Berry, and I thought her portrayal and her character was a good representation of what is actually happening in the world. But also at the same time, you have all these big stars, and Hemsworth is the youngest out of these people, and I think he's close to 40, if not over 40 at the moment, but everyone else is kind of up there in age. Ruffalo, Halle Berry, Nick Nolte, obviously.
Don't forget the Flash.
Well, I can forget the Flash.
Dude, that guy looks rugged.
Did he though? Did he really look rugged? I don't know.
Compared to him as the Flash?
I mean, well, yeah. You have like Arnold compared to how he used to be. Well, yeah, kind of the same thing.
No, this is, I think this was a role that Barry Keogh's crazy actually helped him in the role.
So, okay, when you said
like
Flash,
that's what I imagine him being like normally. All of the allegations that came out about him being like almost trying to be a cult leader and like abducting people and stuff. Like,
who are you talking about right now?
Isn't that Barry Keogh?
He's not the Flash. I was like trying to see where you're going with it, so that I kind of led you on, but he's definitely not the Flash.
Am I mixing up Barry Keogh and Ezra Miller?
Everyone, that's a slow clap. Everyone on the internet, all of our listeners and viewers, join me in this slow clap for not only did he get the name wrong, but he also got the person completely wrong. So this is history for the I Can Do This All Day podcast. So kudos to you, Mark. So Barry, I still think he's pronouncing his name wrong just because my wife also thinks he's pronouncing his name wrong, but he pronounces it Barry Keoghan. But he's from Saltburn. He was in a little ditty called Love Hate, which was a European TV show. But yeah, I mean, he's been in quite a few different things. He was in Eternals. So you've got him from the Eternals. You got Storm from the X-Men, Hulk and Thor. And then you also have Mr. Blue Chip himself, Nick Nolte. So,
dude, Blue Chip's such a great movie. And for the record, the side-by-side on these two guys it's a reasonable miss. The side-by-side on
you
Barry.
Here's the problem, Mark.
Yeah.
You saw The Flash. You liked and said you can do The Flash all day. And yet you got the main character wrong.
Wait. Let's back up. I saw The Flash and said I could do The Flash all day for one very important reason.
But you watched the movie with the main character.
Michael Keaton
Not the
was
main
the
character.
main character in The Flash.
Not the main character.
It was Batman.
Some would argue that it was Ezra Miller.
Dude, Ezra Miller and Barry Keoghan side by side, they're like long-lost brothers.
Nah, I don't think so. But either way.
If only somebody could edit and put those two faces together for the audience to give us their feedback. Audience, in the comments, let us know. Hit us on the socials. Does Ezra Miller resemble Barry? Do they look the same?
I'm not going to waste my time on that because they're just going to say no. What the fuck are you thinking about?
They're going to say yes. They're going to say Mark is right, Dan is wrong.
They have not said that once yet. So I don't know.
That's because nobody comments. What are you talking about? That's not
no. They do. They do comment, and they all comment not towards your opinion. But either way, yeah. So I just kind of let you go because it's like the flat. Like, wait, he was in that movie. I was thinking you were talking about like his John Wesley Flash, or I don't even remember the guy's name. John Wesley Shipp, is that the guy's name? But I thought that's who you're talking about. And I was like thinking to myself, like, was he in this movie? Was he in this movie? Like, fuck it. Just let it go and see where you take this. But
no, I thought it was Ezra Miller. I thought it was Ezra Miller. I actually liked it more when I thought it was Ezra Miller. Now knowing it wasn't Ezra Miller, I'm even lower on this movie.
That's funny. Monica Barbaro, if you remember her from Top Gun Maverick, she was a nice surprise to see in this movie. I thought she was going to have a little bit more of a role besides just being the love interest. That was the big thing for me, was like, oh, she's just a love interest. That's
the red flag ignoring girl.
Yeah, she was.
This guy just tried to pay me off and texted me randomly. Yeah, we'll totally go on a date.
Yeah, isn't that how it goes though? Girls.
I don't know how it goes.
Girls love a guy that just does shitty things. So
do they?
Apparently, that's what they do. That's the truth. That's 100% the truth.
Ugh.
Oh, man. But yeah, so I feel like, the cast had a lot of really good play off of each other. Monica Barbaro's character was an interesting addition just because not because of her, but because of how Hemsworth and his character Mike is portrayed and how he acts in the scenes with her. Super vulnerable, super awkward. Kind of reminded me of like going on dates in my early to mid 20s. And so it was just like, all right, well, that's kind of interesting. But I'm watching this, I'm enjoying it, but it's not what I thought it was going to be. So I don't know if you remember the movie Drive with Ryan Gosling, but did you ever see that?
I don't remember seeing it. I know of it.
What would you think that movie's about?
Him being a getaway driver.
How many scenes do you think that would involve of getaway driving?
Probably not many based on what you're saying. You mean it's not Baby Driver-esque where it's in the car basically the whole time?
With the movie called Drive, there is 3 scenes of driving, and that's it. 3 scenes of driving in an entire movie. So Crime 101, there was 101 scenes of talking about crime. And just not a lot of crime. So there's like 3 crime scenes in that entire movie. So there's a little bit of a parallel. However, I do enjoy Hemsworth's character and the overall cast better than Drive. So if that's a comparison for anything. But overall for the plot, I mean, when you take a look at what's going on, so like it goes right into that first crime heist, something goes wrong, he decides to kind of pull back, but then Barry Keoghan's character, his name is what, Osmo something? Orman.
I just referred to him as John Connor because he kept driving around on a dirt bike.
Dude, he was such a little bastard that you truly hate him in this movie. Like,
yeah.
What is your deal, dude? Like, why? You can't even do crime right. You're such a bad criminal and you mess stuff up and then you're just greedy. You just want more. And so I liked that portrayal of him because it's just like, okay, well, you have to hate someone. And I'm not in love with anyone. Like, I don't feel strongly like I like this person yet. And the only strong feelings are coming from Orman, the biker, because he's such a freaking wild card, jackass, crazy guy. So that's kind of, at least that was there for me. And so I don't know, what were your thoughts on like the polarities of, did you really like any characters? Did you really hate any of them?
I mean, at least he didn't shoot the baby, but that was his only redeeming quality, I think. Nick Nolte's character. I liked that it was, that they got somebody with some gravitas to play the part, but I think that it was, it was very obvious that there was some scummy underbosses going on there, and that was kind of cool. I don't think there was anybody that I didn't like other than that character, but it worked for me. It made me happy to see him get like beat down by
Yeah.
Hemsworth. I was
Yeah.
okay that they chose violence.
They
I
weren't
think that
even filming a scene. Hemsworth just got tired of him and just started beating the
just
shit out
shut
of him.
up, Barry. Yeah, I think that this movie was more the journey of Hemsworth's character and just seeing the uncomfortableness of it. We saw what in the beginning of it was, you saw his standard process, right? Research, robbery, get out of the way, nobody gets hurt, we're done. We fence and then repeat, right? And he just goes in that. But once they broke the cycle, well, wait, you forgot the prostitute portion of it. That was pretty awkward. And then it just they broke the cycle, and Hemsworth just spiraled into trying to get a life. Like, you didn't know if he was getting out of crime or just taking a break. He decided to hook up with the random girl that rear-ended his Chrysler, which I want to take a minute. His Dodge, his Challenger. I want to take a minute. That Chrysler 300 he drove, could they have picked a less cool car that is no longer in production to use in this movie?
That's a pretty sweet car. That's a sweet car. That's also like a really good muscle car for that particular model overall.
They don't even
I
make
thought
it
that was pretty
anymore.
sweet.
It's
So?
out of production, just like the
Still
Challenger is. Like,
So?
Dodge paid
Is
or
it still-
Chrysler
Is
paid
it
all this
not
money
badass?
for nothing. I think the Challenger's badass. I think the 300's a little bit of a stretch. But
300 is like kind of, you would think that it's an old man, but it's got some balls. I had a former colleague. We had a former colleague that had a Chrysler 300 that was pretty badass, had some good pickup. The funny thing about that, a Chrysler 300, is the fact that in the movie Drive, that is one of the cars that one of the other bad guys drives. And so I was like, okay, cool, I can see that. And it looked freaking sweet, murdered out black and everything. Like it looked cool.
the Caddy was by far the sweetest car in this.
I don't know. Challenger for sure. Challenger for at least for me. But I mean, someone will say like you can't beat the classic American muscle. Like, okay, yeah, you can. You do it with modern muscle, but I don't know. That's just my opinion. I'm not a gearhead, so it is what it is. But that was a sweet car. That's a sweet car. At the end, when Ruffalo inherits that car, because he just let him go, I'm fine with that. It's like, oh, okay, I let you go. I got my bust. It keeps to the narrative of the 101 bank robber. I'll take your car. It's all good.
There was something that stuck out to me, or something that made me laugh in this movie, is I think this is the only usage of the Bruce Springsteen live version of Jersey Girl that I've seen in a movie since Jersey Girl, the Kevin Smith movie. I was like, of all of the songs in all of the world that you can put on, you picked Jersey Girl?
I wasn't a fan of the music.
I love the song. I love the song. I love the version. I was just like, this doesn't. And her reason was, they're all so excited that he's singing it in New Jersey. And I'm like, yeah, that's like a music thing. If you go to a concert, they try and work in the name of the city in the concert. And everybody is excited about it. Like, when she said that nobody's excited about being from LA, I was like, there's a song called I Love LA.
Yeah. Very true. Who did that song? Was that Randy Newman?
That was Randy Newman.
Racist Randy Newman. What a guy.
He hates short people, I'll tell you what.
Oh, man. But the music was the one thing that it didn't blow me away, and I wasn't a huge fan of. It didn't hurt the movie, but it didn't enhance the movie that I thought that it could have. But there were some comparisons about this movie saying that it was like Heat, which I don't think it was. Heat was not a slow burn. This was definitely more of a slow burn. It does have a little bit of undertones, if you will. So, you got the love interest that, like, I'm going to give up everything. I'm going to do one last score and I'll move out with her, to have a life with her. And then there was the cool, I don't think that there's really a comparison, but I thought the scene with Ruffalo and Hemsworth talking in the car, kind of just having that little mental
that
chess
was
game.
by far the best part of
So good.
the
because
tension was palpable. But wait, I think we're getting ahead of ourselves, right? I want to wait. I have one more scene that I want to talk about in this. There was a swingers-esque scene in this. And whenever I reference swingers, I always reference the scene where Favreau tries to call the chick from the bar over and over again. The scene after he bangs the chick and wakes after they make sweet lovin' consensually. He didn't bang her, right? After he brings her back after a few dates and they spend the night together. He's looking at her and she's looking at him. And they're just like, and the only thing that came into my head was, do you remember the episode of South Park where Chef sings the song about prostitutes?
I don't. You'd think that I remember that, but I don't remember it.
It's worth a Google. It's worth a Google. And the key line is, you don't pay for them to have sex, you pay for them to leave afterwards. And I was like, that's what Hemsworth normally does. And now he's stuck. And I laughed about it. And it was just in my head. And I was like, good job, Trey and Matt. You've just ruined me as a person. But the awkwardness there was a different kind of tension than the tension we got towards the end. And I really did think that the one redeeming quality of this film was the way that it never let you kind of be comfortable I couldn't get in the drive lane with it, right? I couldn't sit in the pocket and just watch it. Where most heist movies, you just sit there and enjoy. Even like a Reservoir Dogs, which has all kinds of crazy shit going on in it. You get in the pocket with Reservoir Dogs. It was like, I'm a little uncomfortable. There's a lot of emotion here.
Yeah, for sure. Like, you bring up one word that I'll definitely agree with is just the word tension. Because they do a really, really good job of bringing the tension. Because you really don't know, like, who's screwing who. Like, what's the deal here? Like, oh, is this the heist that's gonna go bad? Or like, oh no, Osmond or whatever the frickin' Barry's character just like does the bank job. Or not the bank job, the jewelry heist just by himself. And like, I felt like he was gonna become part of his crew, and then they were gonna go ahead and do that stuff. And that's where I thought it was going. It's like, okay, if you don't have the confidence to do this by yourself, we're gonna bring someone else in. And so I kind of was thinking that they're gonna be kind of like buddy at that point. But then, it's like, okay, I don't like the way you operate. You hurt people. And then there's like a divorce of like, I can't do this job with this guy. Like, he's crazy, blah, blah, blah. Kind of like, like a Reservoir Dogs type of scene to where it's like, you set me up with this psycho. Like, no, he's just in there killing people, like bang, bang, bang. And I thought that was like really cool because it's kind of like just I was super anxious while watching this movie. Because like, oh, is he gonna get shot? Like, oh, is he gonna get double crossed? Like, oh, is he gonna bang that girl and is she gonna stay? I don't know. So I don't know. It was just kind of like all over the place for me. But it's not so much that I was disappointed with it. It's just something I wasn't expecting. But definitely the tension was there for sure.
Yeah, I think the movie really locked in for me when he made the Thomas Crown reference. When he made this,
don't even know what the reference was. Never saw
a
it.
reference to when they were talking about Steve McQueen.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
During the car scene and during the
yeah.
The push there, and you see Barry just like find his way in by just sorry, it's my first day. You should give me access to everything. Like, nobody cares. Just go this way, whatever. And Hemsworth, it just shows the wild card versus the purely planned Ocean's 11 level heist access to it. So you wanted to see where they came together, but the car with Ruffalo, when they've already talked, was very interesting. Like, Hemsworth didn't notice the voice.
Yeah. So like Ruffalo was fishing, and then there's a point. So do you think that Hemsworth really knew that he was a cop?
No, he didn't know he was a cop. I don't think he knew he was a cop.
You a cop? You a cop? I kind of went back and forth on that because I was like, does he know? Or is he that smooth that he's like, nah, I like the bad guy that gets away. Like he just doesn't care. He's just like, nah, I like it when the criminal gets away at the end, like or whatever it is.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like he's just kind of throwing it out there to be like, it can be conversational, but also at the same time, if Ruffalo was not the cop, this is a conversation that he probably would enjoy having with someone.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's kind of funny. Like that's where the only Heat comparison is that, you know, Pacino and De Niro have a good time speaking with each other because they can respect what each other does because they're just on the opposite side. So they respect what the other side does. And it's very similar, but obviously different on the sides of the law. Now for the car aspect, this is just like, okay, well, Hemsworth is going to talk about cars, or his character is going to talk about cars. And whether it's a cop, whether it's someone trying to bust him, he's just like, I like cars. I really like cars. I like this one. And it's just so kind of funny. But he still kind of keeps his composure with everything. So I feel like he could have nerded out a little bit. And, you know, maybe they didn't want to go too cheesy with it like that. But I thought it would have been a nice addition to the potential neurodivergence of Mike, his character.
And then the hotel room was when they get up there, I thought was when we got some really good, like when we really thought that there was going to be, I thought it was going to go different. Like I thought that there was going to
I thought Reservoir Dogs shootout was going to happen.
Yeah, no, for sure. When he had the dude go to the safe, I'm like, that psycho has a gun in the safe. He had a gun in every other safe in his house. Like, he's got to have a gun in that safe. And then when there's no gun in the safe, you're disappointed. But then there was a gun in the briefcase.
Yeah. It was pretty sweet. And like that whole scene, I was thinking like, okay, the movie's called Crime 101. It's about a heist. It's about a good heist guy and then a bad heist guy and then a cop that's going after. It's not going to end well for anyone. And I was thinking like, okay, everyone's going to die and the end credits is going to be like, yeah, this is typical Crime 101 right here. Just no one gets out alive. So, you know, something stupid at the end of it. Like I thought that's what they were going to say. I'm glad that they didn't, but it definitely went different. Like I called this movie wrong every step of the way. Every single thing I thought was going to happen didn't happen. I thought the girl was going to die. I thought all of them were going to die. I thought Halle Berry was actually going to stick with it throughout the whole thing and just become an accomplice. But nope, she didn't do that either. It did a good job of keeping me guessing at everything and guessing wrong.
Yeah. Did you catch the twist at the end that the rich douchebag was the guy that was giving Nick Nolte the info on like or he was buying the diamonds that Hemsworth had already stolen?
Yeah.
So Hemsworth was stealing the same diamonds twice?
That was very interesting to me because it was like a very complex story. Like you wouldn't expect that to happen and you wouldn't really expect, you know, like I think they did a very good job of forecasting what was going to happen. Like knowing what happens in the movie in hindsight was like, that was a clever setup. That was really nice for that character to add that in there for that little piece of dialogue.
Yeah, I think that the reason that we couldn't guess what happened at every step is because they gave us so many like false hints that left us at a point where, you know, like in any movie trope, if they tease it here, it's going to show up here exactly the same way. And it didn't. And I thought that was kind of refreshing in a way. It was good, but not what I expected.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
I think that is pretty consistent throughout the entire movie. Speaking of like just for consistency for the movies, I feel like the ratings for this movie is pretty consistent all across the board as well. So you got Rotten Tomatoes at an 88, certified fresh. That's a critic score, 84% audience score, and then IMDb with a 6.9. And my personal opinion, IMDb, anything like 6.7 or 6.3 to 6.7 is like, yeah, I'll watch it. 6.9 is kind of where you get into that category of like, oh, this is a good movie, but you might not be into it because of XYZ reason. So I feel like this is very spot on for the ratings, because that's kind of what I was thinking as I was watching this movie. It's like, this movie isn't bad, but there's a few things that if you're expecting this and getting that, you're not going to completely enjoy it. But also at the same time, there's a lot of things you can appreciate. I don't know. What were your thoughts on that? Do you think that it
It
was going to be
surprised me.
higher or lower?
It surprised me it was so high. I don't think I would rate it that high, but I'm not mad about it. You know, I think that if you compared the ratings on this movie to an Italian Job or a Heat or an Ocean's 11, I would guess that they're not at 88% certified fresh, right?
I think like the Italian Job was one of the not. I don't know for sure, but I know it wasn't as highly regarded as some people thought, just because of the acting, and even Edward Norton was kind of like phoned it in for that movie as well, so he didn't necessarily think it was the best movie either. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. When you compare it to other movies, I would still say it still holds up pretty well. When you compare it to other movies released, I think the scores are justified. And so whether or not that, by saying that in itself, it's kind of skewed, I don't know, but it's a solid movie overall. But was there anything that really Martha'd you about the movie?
You know, normally stuff jumps out at me as a WTF for things that I would say Martha me. I'm looking back at my notes in general. I think that the thing that Martha'd me the most about this was the opening and the closing trying to be artistic. Like they really because it kind of set the mood as awkward. Like nothing else about the movie was fucking was Christopher Nolan except this homage twisty thing. It wasn't that movie. So I think that they pulled the taffy a little on this movie. It was real long for what it needed to be, I thought. Um I didn't think it needed to be that long. I think they could cut 20 minutes out of this movie and it could still be just as good. I know that when you want to build tension, you got to pull, but I think they stretched it a little thin. That's the only thing. Nothing major, you know, other than I mean, maybe that it was billed as a heist movie when it's not a heist movie per se. It's not the score. It's not, you know, those movies. What about you? What Martha do you, Dan?
I would say that I liked the ending because I feel like everyone got what they, not that necessarily what they wanted, but what they deserved. I think the only one that really got what he wanted was Ruffalo. But I think it was just a little too clean for me. I like a downer ending, especially for criminals. That's how it should be. But it was just a little too, Mike's not a bad guy. Sure, he robs people, but he doesn't hurt people. Ruffalo, he's a good cop, but he just, he really needed to stick to his guns, but he did the right thing because Mike saved his life. And then, you got Halle Berry's character, like, she was working for these douchebags that weren't going to give her the time of day anyway. So it's like, I get it. Everyone kind of gets their comeuppance. And even for Barry Keoghan's character, I think he got exactly what he deserved. He got the notoriety that he wanted and deserved because he was kind of the nutbag criminal, right? So it was wrapped up into a neat little bow, but it just was too neat for me. That was the only thing that really Martha'd me, is that like, oh, really? This is how we're ending it? And I said that out loud. That was my gut reaction. I didn't hate it, but it certainly Martha'd me for sure. It just didn't sit right.
Sense. That makes sense. It was a little bit of a happy ending after a movie that was all tension.
Yeah.
Right. It was a little too happy. And the fact that Ruffalo took the diamonds at the end is also like,
right? I mean, it's kind of out there. Like, not does it push a good guy to become crooked? Like when you follow the rules all the time and you're in a corrupt system, that's kind of like it's an interesting way to look at it, in my opinion. So it's like, yeah, maybe this world is completely upside down, just like at the beginning of the movie. This world is upside down, but to make it make sense, this is how you have to play.
Yeah.
It's none of the rules are nice rules. It's all just you got to do what you can to survive or to take care of number one. And apparently that's the motto of the movie, like take care of number one. Each and every single person in that movie was trying to take care of number one. And yeah, it is what it is. But
I think that the one person who got the right comeuppance is that rich jerkbag got shot. Like he deserved to get shot. Play with guns long enough. Oh yeah.
Did he deserve to get shot? Yeah, I mean he was. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's time to wrap this up into a nice little bow. Mark, before we do, when it comes to the slow burn crime heist thriller, not so much of a thriller with a lot of superheroes from the Marvel Universe, Crime 101, can you do this all day?
No, it's a no for me, dog. And it's not that it was a bad movie, but it's just not the movie that I would watch repeatedly. Especially with this cast, you'd expect some rewatchability and like, to get in the groove and just enjoy the ride. The ride wasn't for me. It's not that the movie was bad, but it's not something I'm like, oh, I want to make other people watch this. It was so like, you know, it just wasn't. Like I saw Project Hail Mary and I can't wait to watch that again. And it was longer than this. Because it just got in the right groove for me. It's a totally different movie, but in general, right? Can't do it all day. Not bad, not garbage, but not for me. But it's not
Fair
just
enough.
about me. That's not what this podcast is about. It's about us. And if we can do it all day, and you've heard from me, but Dan, can you do Crime 101 all day?
I have to bring it back to tension. Can you feel the tension in the air? It's
Dun,
just
dun, dun,
ridiculous.
dun, 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 dun.
It's so ridiculous and like in a good way. In a good way. I have not been this anxious in a movie since like Uncut Gems. Like Uncut Gems, it was just like nonstop anxiety throughout the entire film. This one, I was like, oh God, I hate that biker character. Like, oh my God, is everyone gonna just like get shot right now? Like, there's so many different aspects of the movie that I was like, what's gonna happen now? What's gonna happen now? And there were some kind of like WTF moments, but nothing that was just like egregious as the ending, where it's like, oh yeah, a cop gets a no questions asked Camaro, and there you go, like that's what you get, and it's like, acting was good. Hemsworth, I thought, did a really good job with that character. It made me appreciate his acting skill, and I was kind of joking about it with my wife throughout the whole thing, and I was just like, yep, see, they're going to downplay his character a little bit because Hemsworth is too sexy and he just needs to say something awkward or not say something so that way it kind of brings it back to reality. So I think, going back to his appearance in the Ghostbusters, the Paul Feig Ghostbusters with Melissa McCarthy and Kate McKinnon and Leslie Jones, I thought that his portrayal in that was so damn funny because he's just like a gorgeous dumbass. Now he's just like a gorgeous, awkward guy that is trying to get through the normal everyday life, but is really good at heists and crime. So it was an interesting take on it. And Halle Berry, good to see her again. I thought she did a really good job in this role. Ruffalo, I'm not going to say it was his best performance, but I think just the dynamic of everyone else, it played to a positive. Like the music overall didn't move me. It didn't make it better. It didn't make it worse. Would I rewatch this again? Yes. Would I recommend this to anyone? I would say if you are a fan of crime movies and you're not expecting a smash 'em up type of action heist movie, then yeah, I would say this is for you. But because I'm giving that caveat, I'm going to say no, I cannot do this all day because I don't want to scream from the mountaintops like, everyone go see this movie if you like X, Y, and Z. Like that, I'm not going to do that. So that's why I cannot do this all day.
Yeah, subtext matters.
It does. It certainly does. But Monica Barbaro, put her in everything. Fan. I'm a fan. I liked her. And I don't know if you ever saw the Netflix show Fubar with Arnold, but she plays his daughter in that, and she's pretty good in that too. So it's fun.
Wonder if she'll
But
be
that
in
wraps it
Top
up.
Gun Rooster or whatever they're going to
It's
call it.
probably Top Gun, the toppest of guns. That's what it's going to be called. That wraps it up for another episode of the I Can Do This All Day podcast. I'm Dan the Part-Time Avenger. That's Mark the Resident Jedi.
Don't forget, y'all, like, subscribe, give us some reviews out there. We appreciate you. Tell us in the comments if you think that we're wrong and that we should shout about this movie from the mountaintops with all of the subtext and subtitles that go along with it. At I Can Do This All Day podcast on all of your favorite social things. And yeah, you'll hear from us again.
We'll see you next time, everyone.